Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, therefore I apologise in advance if I stumble over my words going forwards, and indeed if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well. If there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. Today is yet another Eurovision related video here on my channel. We still don't know the host city of the upcoming 2022 edition, although surely we will find out within the next couple of weeks. As such, I still want to get videos out there about Eurovision in general, and today I thought I'd take a look at each host nation entry of the century so far and rank them, because it's something that I've never really bothered to do in the past. As always, let me know your thoughts, and I should also say that, as always, there are links in the description to my other social media pages. So let's go back 21 years to the Stockholm 2000 competition, and the host nation, Sweden, had a song that ended up in a very respectable 7th place. And this is a great song. It is When Spirits Are Calling My Name, När vindarna viskar mitt namn, to give the Swedish title, by Roger Pontare. 88 points for this, 18th in the running order, very decent indeed. I think this is a terrific host nation entry. It's quite daring, actually. Sweden hadn't sent anything remotely like this in the past. There is something very traditional about it. It's got a great beat. It's fairly up-tempo. Roger, who must have been maybe in his late 40s, early 50s at the time, I want to say. Good energy, great vocals. And the crowd obviously very much into this one. Big cheers for him. It is, I ought to get this up actually. I'm not well prepared. Here we go. Where is that song ranked in my personal ranking of the 2000 competition? Well, I can tell you if I do this. Sweden is my number 5 of the 2000 competition, 7th in real life. And very well deserved. You know, it's quite rousing. The chorus in particular is quite catchy. He was in this sort of traditional outfit, feathers if I recall. It's been a while since I saw the performance. Flames in the final part of the song around the edge of the stage, which was something we didn't really see at all in Eurovision back then. Pyrotechnics and fire was never really something that was used at all. Even a smoke machine was fairly rare. But Sweden received quite a bit of love. Only a few countries used 100% jury vote at this time. 12 points the highest mark from the Turkish jury of all countries. But there you go. I always think that when you are the host nation, you want a song that is not necessarily going to win, but going to get you a very decent result. It needs to be a song, I think, that shows the best of you, your best talent. So ideally, perhaps one of your best artists. I don't know. I always think that there's a lot of interest in Eurovision, obviously, when a country hosts. So, for example, I would imagine in Italy next year, Sanremo is going to have a lot of major names, because the opportunity to represent your country on home soil, it might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, you never know. But this was very, very good from Sweden. Roger, of course, had been at Eurovision before as part of a duo in 1994, I believe it was, but this was considerably stronger, and he absolutely nailed it. If anything, it should have perhaps finished a bit higher. 2001 in Copenhagen. What a great host nation entry this was. Rollo and King, Never Ever Let You Go. Now, Rollo and King, Soren Popper and Stefan Nielsen, but they were joined on stage by a woman whose name eludes me. But anyway, Denmark were 23rd, last in the running order. Signe Svensson was the female on stage with them. She sang some of the choruses and the second verse. Only 2 albums. The first one went 2 times platinum in Denmark. All I really remember as well is that during the voting, just puffing away on a cigarette in the green room, because you could do that back then. This was terrific. And again, somewhat daring. This was sort of country pop, I suppose, in that vast Parken Stadium in Copenhagen, a huge crowd cheering them on. Absolutely terrific. 177 points. It was very close between Denmark and Estonia, but then towards the end, Estonia just pulled ahead. If we have a look at the results, many 12 points for Denmark, 6 in total. Croatia, Estonia, Germany, Iceland, Ireland, and Norway gave Denmark the maximum 12. Very decent indeed. I don't think this song would be deemed a classic by many Eurovision fans. It's not my winner of the 2001 contest, but it is a very close run thing with Estonia. And yeah, just again, quite a catchy entry. Oh yeah, I've actually listened to this Danish entry from 2001 more than any other song, which is probably a sign from that year, I mean, which is probably a sign that it is actually my personal favourite of the Copenhagen 2001 contest. Maybe I need to update my top again. I don't know. Anyway, really great stuff. Terrific. And a good slot in the running order, of course. Now, Estonia 2002 is my personal winner. And arguably this song is stronger than their winner the year before. This was 8th in the running order. Saa-Lena, Swedish-born, has tried to represent Sweden in the past. She's been at Eurovision more than I would say 95% of any other musician that's been in the contest at least once, because she's been a backing singer many times, including for the UK, Michael Rice in 2019. But yes, she's been involved in Eurovision a lot over the years, and I wouldn't be surprised if she does try again as a solo artist for Sweden, perhaps, in the near future. Anyway, Runaway was the title of the song, performed in English, joint third place, 111 points, joint third with the UK. Third place for us is a rare thing. But this was terrific. She was on the sort of runway for the entire performance. She was in this sort of white outfit, white skirt, white top. She must have been early 20s at the time, maybe. Decent vocals. If you've seen the performance, at one stage, the backing vocals completely overshadow her, but then it seems to rectify itself as the performance goes on, so that was a little bit of a fault. But on the whole, this was a thoroughly enjoyable, solid host nation entry. In terms of the points, Estonia received a maximum 12 from Sweden and Latvia, and a couple of 10s in there as well. Very, very good. It's just a sweet, fairly plain, but well executed entry. Very respectable indeed in terms of the result. And I think I said this in a previous video, Estonia really were one of those nations that you expected to finish in the top 10 every year at one point. They just had this very hot run of form in the contest. Absolutely terrific. 2003, Latvia hosted. Now this was a host nation entry that failed to capture the attention of the viewers. This was FLY with Hello from Mars, 21st in the running order, 24th out of 26 nations, 5 points, all of which came from their geographical neighbours Estonia. I don't mind this, but you have to say it's fairly cheesy. It consisted, the group, of 3 musicians put together purely for Eurovision. Martins Freimanis, who passed away several years ago, but he also read out the results for Estonia once or twice, I believe. He also wrote The War Is Not Over, Latvia's 2005 entry. He passed away in 2011 at the age of 33. Oh, dear me. Hepatotoxicity. Yeah, heavens above. I did know that. He also performed with Lauris Reineks, who's been involved in the Latvian national selection loads of times. He's a big star over there, loads of awards. Jana Kay was the female member of the group. They were in white outfits from what I recall. Obviously a lot of support at that arena in Riga. The song itself, it's just fairly silly. You know, lyrically, it all feels somewhat amateurish and very hastily put together. But yeah, it's still fine. It's still catchy. I keep using that word, but it is. I just think that this felt more suited to Junior Eurovision, which would start later that year. This isn't the sort of track that you can take terribly seriously. It doesn't really feel like a credible attempt to get a good result, and therefore 5 points. If we take a look at my ranking, Latvia is number 18 out of 26 in my 2003 top 26. Now, something really excellent. In Istanbul, in Turkey, the host nation, 22nd in the running order, 4th place, 195 points for Athena and for real. Ska punk. Terrific. We have not really had anything quite like this since or even before 2004. And in fact, if you were a Eurovision fan in the 1960s, I mean, the idea of something remotely like this ever being at Eurovision must have just seemed ridiculous. But here it was, in that arena in Istanbul, which is no longer there, sadly. But the atmosphere, oh man, I wish I'd been there. Just watching the video, and I actually watched the video on YouTube for this song shortly before recording this video. Unbelievable, the atmosphere. Terrific. Athena, an all-male group. They've been going for a very long time. 2 members of the group are brothers, Hakan and Gökhan Özgüz. They've released loads of albums, although not for quite a long time, which is a shame. Ska punk, punk rock, alternative rock. Yeah, 1987 they formed. Absolutely terrific. The live version, better than the studio version, if you ask me. Quite a colourful stage, and you've sort of got sharks on the backdrop. Lots of flashing lights. The lead singer had this jacket on with the peace symbols on. You had a woman come out towards the end with a vest that said Turkish Delight on it, I believe. Oh man, so catchy. I use that word again. So stand out. This was so much better than the vast majority of performances that year, truth be told. As for the results, Turkey received 12 from 4 different nations: Belgium, France, Germany and the Netherlands. In fact, only 4 countries failed to give the host nation anything at all. What did the UK give it? 6. Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. What a great host nation entry. Energetic, lively, gets you up out of your seat. And it deserved to finish that high up. It stood out so much from the field. Let's move on to 2005. I should say Athena, my personal winner, clear winner of the 2004 contest. Now, Ukraine, 2005. This was 16th in the running order. Green Jolly, Razom Nas Bahato, Nasni Podolati, I believe. Together We Are Many. Now, this is hip-hop. So again, a fairly risky host nation entry. This didn't quite work. Hip-hop, rap, never really seems to do that well at Eurovision. Now, this had political connotations, so I'm surprised that it didn't fall foul of the EBU's rules regarding politics in songs. It was in Ukrainian and was written to refer to the 2004 presidential election, even going so far to name presidential candidate Viktor Yushchenko by name. Now, I don't really think much of this track. We sort of had green lighting, 2 guys in fake handcuffs. The camera kept cutting to the guitarist, who had a green guitar, I remember that much. The lead singer was in this sort of baggy, brownish jacket. The crowd loved it, but yeah, I mean, this was never going to win. I think it was more, I suppose, a political stance than anything else. Of course, the results in 2005, very notable, because the bottom 4 was the big 4, and then in 19th was the host nation. So you had Germany, France, UK, Spain, and Ukraine. Unbelievable. 30 points for this, which I suppose isn't too bad when you consider the type of song it is. It's a little repetitive, and I suppose it does pack a punch lyrically, but it's not really my cup of tea. 12 points from Poland. Geographical neighbours. There you are. In terms of my ranking, Ukraine is my number 21 out of 24 in that 2005 Kiev final. Moving on, do let me know your thoughts on these songs. I said I was going to rank them. I haven't even started doing that yet. I need to do that at the end of this video. Bear with me. Athens 2006. This was one of the favourites. Anastasia, been at Eurovision before. represented Cyprus once as well. Song 16, Everything. 9th place. Not too bad at all. Very respectable. 128 points. I think the Greeks were probably disappointed that this didn't push harder for the win. It's a big ballad. Anna sang it very well. Very dramatic. That final chorus. The pyros. She fell to her knees. The crowd absolutely went wild for it. A very, very successful, established musician in her homeland. Very famous indeed. And if we take a look at the points Greece received, well, they were right before Finland in the running order. 12 from Cyprus and 12 from Bulgaria. But really, there's quite a few gaps here, so some countries completely ignored this song entirely. I don't really have much else to say about it. It's a fairly typical Eurovision ballad. And you could tell that Greece wanted to win again. They were in this very hot run of form, many top 10 results in a row. But in the end, this just came up short. It never quite got to the top 3 even during the voting. In my ranking, Greece is my number 15, I believe. Yes, indeed. Moving on to 2007, Finland. Now, this is great. It's rock. Finland won the year before with hard rock, so they tried to go down a similar route. Hanna Pakarinen on early in the running order with Leave Me Alone. Song 5, 17th place, 53 points. I think that's fairly harsh. I've seen this performance back many times over the years. I thought it was very good indeed. Hannah looking quite gothic, a bit like Amy Lee of Evanescence in this sort of black dress. There was a guitarist with a hat, if I recall, a sort of blue colour scheme, and then it sort of turned this orange fire shade for the final chorus. Pyros, a very enthusiastic crowd in Helsinki. This is really good. If you strongly believed political voting was a thing back then I suppose you could say one of the reasons why Finland, and also looking at the results here, Sweden, Germany, Spain, why they struggled that year is probably because of so-called political neighbourly voting. We had a lot of countries from Eastern Europe compete. In fact, during the semi-final, I'm going off on a tangent here, but during that semi-final, once the qualifiers had been announced, there was booing in the arena, probably because no country from Western Europe was successful in getting through. Anyway, going back to the point, this is a rock number. We know that Finland's got a great rock scene. We saw it this year with Blind Channel. But this just didn't quite cut it. I don't know why. 53 points, though, is not too bad under the old voting system. To finish in that position is not bad at all. 12 points from Sweden, 12 points from Iceland, and then 7 from Andorra, who also had a bit of a rock song that year. So there you go. Lovely stuff. The Finnish entry, I should say, has actually risen quite a few places in my ranking over the years. It's currently my number 11. Moving on to 2008, Serbia. Now, this was very similar to the Greek song I just mentioned. A country that really wanted to win again, but ultimately came up short. This was 23rd in the running order. Jelena Tomašević featuring Bora Dugic. 2 very established names. 2 great musicians in their homeland. Jelena nailed this vocally. The song was called Oro, O-R-O, a Balkan ballad, quite typical. Bora Dugic is a flautist, by the way. 6th place, 160 points is very decent indeed. I mean, every now and then we just get a Balkan ballad that really just stands out from the field. Sometimes, you know, it sounds a bit samey to something we've had before, but this was just really beautifully done. It's not one of my big favourites at all. If we take a look at my results, under the way that I construct my rankings, see my previous video for that, Serbia is actually a semi-finalist for me that year, and I'm looking at the wrong year. Yes, Serbia is actually my number 12 in semi-final 2 of 2008. But I still really appreciate this song. It builds up nicely. There's something quite fairy tale-esque about it, quite ethereal. Yeah, really terrific. 160 points. This was always going to do well in the voting with geographical neighbours. 12 from Bosnia, Montenegro, Slovenia, and Switzerland. Really lovely stuff. This would have finished a few places higher, but it was quite a strong top 5 in all honesty. So there we are. Moving on to 2009, Russia. Now, Russia, quite interesting in terms of the way that this was staged. Anastasia Pricago, who I believe had tried to represent Belarus or Ukraine at some point, can't remember which one, doesn't really matter. She is Ukrainian, she's also an activist and politician, so there you go. She's not even a musician anymore. I didn't even know this. She ended her music career to enter politics a few years ago. She vowed never to perform in Russia again. Unbelievable. I didn't even know this. Wow, so her career has totally gone whoosh in the other direction. Unbelievable. Anyway, Anastasia Pricago finished 11th in Russia in 2009, 91 points with Mamo. She just stood there in this white dress, and next to her was a screen that showed her face, and it aged as the performance went on. So she went from looking herself to looking like a much older version of herself, an elderly version. And I think that probably was the most memorable thing about this song, because to be honest, there's not much about this particular tune that really stands out to me. It got a little bit shouty towards the end. I personally don't think that this is one of Russia's strongest songs. But hey, I can appreciate how it was presented. 10th in the running order. In terms of the results, Russia received one set of 12, and that was from Armenia. And under my ranking system, Russia is my number 16 of semi-final 1. Ooh, never been a big fan of it. Got to be totally honest with you. Yeah, there we are. Very dark in terms of the staging in general. Moving on to 2010, I'm rattling through this now. Norway, song 3 in the running order. Didrik Solitangen, trying to represent his country in 2020 with his brother. Out of Air was the name of the song, not bad. This was sort of operatic stuff, which is always risky. So there we are again, with a somewhat risky host nation entry. My Heart Is Yours. This suffered from being fairly plain, nothing wildly original, and early in the running order. 35 points for this, a high mark of 7 from Estonia, it looks like. He was dressed quite smartly, he sang very well. Those sort of drapes dangling from the ceiling around the back of the stage. No LED screen, of course, that year. A couple of backing musicians. Rousing stuff. But yeah, just failed to really live long in the memory, I guess, and I have nothing else to say about it. Norway is my number 20 of the 2010 contest. Now, Germany 2011 decided, right, we are definitely going to try and win again, so we're just going to send the current champion. Lena was back. She's gone on to have the most fabulous career in Germany, it must be said. Anyway, taken by a stranger, it was selected via the public in this sort of little national final. Lena was still very young at the time, of course. 10th place, 107 points, not too bad, very credible. What was memorable about this performance is that Lena went from, you know, having this very cutesy, somewhat cheeky entry the year before, which came out on top, to being this sort of fairly sexy, vampish figure on stage in Dusseldorf. It was quite the transformation, you know, lingering looks into the camera. She had a group of people on stage with her in very tight, full-body silver outfits and on the LED screen. And then there was that moment at the end with the big crash sound. This was really good. And I have to say, I totally underrated this way back in the day. It's now not one of my big favourites, but I enjoy it so much more than I did 10 years ago. If we take a look, Germany is my number 13 of the 2011 contest. This was moody, atmospheric, very different from everything else that year. And in all honesty, this maybe should have finished a bit higher. 16th in the running order. In terms of the points, Germany received no 12s, but a 10 from Austria, next door neighbours. But yeah, I think that's a very decent result indeed. I'm not looking at the split results here, purely because I've gone through them in the past. 2012, Azerbaijan. Now here's a song again that I underrated way back in the day, but I can appreciate a lot more now. 13th in the running order, 4th in the results, 150 points for Sabina Babayeva with When the Music Dies. Great vocals here. She was wearing a dress that sort of had projections on it, which looked pretty cool. This is a big ballad. You've got strings in the back, which just gives this song a very classy feel. Sabina is 41 years of age now. What on earth? I thought she was much younger. She's won a lot of awards, very well respected. A veteran contestant in the Azerbaijani national selection. Yes, if I recall, she'd tried quite often to represent her country and finally got the chance on home soil. Yeah, 150 points. I don't know. This was always likely to do very well, just not win. I didn't think much of it when I saw it and heard it the first time, but I can appreciate it for what it is. Azerbaijan, under my ranking system, is 11th in semi-final 2, but it used to be a lot lower. Let's move on. Come on now. 2013, Sweden. Now, what's interesting about Sweden 2013, again a bit risky, you have to say, in the sense that they picked in Melfest somebody who had come through the second chance round. It was the first time that an artist represented Sweden, having not originally been an automatic qualifier under the Melfest semi-finals. Anyway, it was Robin Huenberg with You. Now Robin, who must be in his 30s by now, he is 30, he was on Swedish Idol, which he was the runner-up in. He wrote Robin Bengtsson's I Can't Go On, or co-wrote it. So he's been associated with Eurovision a fair few times over the years. He's also written one or two other songs in Melfest, I believe. Anyway, 14th place, which I believe until this year was the last time Sweden finished outside the top 10. But, excuse me. He did very well with the juries, very poorly with the public. 16th in the running order, 14th place, 62 points. In terms of the results, he received 12 from Norway, which is not a shock. There was this little podium on stage. He had a group of dancers, backing musicians with him. He was in a sort of grey, silvery suit. That massive high note towards the end, the falling rain, pyrotechnics. I've always liked this. It is my number 4 of the 2013 contest. It's really not bad. But when you think of Sweden, you think of something that is a potential winner, and this never really felt like one. Moving on to 2014, Denmark. So this was a sort of retro, sort of almost 60s doo-wop style pop song. Not bad at all. This was Basim, who performed 23rd in the running order. Cliché love song, 9th place, not bad, 74 points, a little bit underrated from the public again. Not the most colourful performance. He had dancers with him in sort of smart, was it tuxedos? Very smart anyway. One of the dancers had an afro, if I recall. Really great stuff. Really likeable, smiley singer. That massive banner towards the end of the performance as well, which said love on it. This is catchy, this is fun. Not too bad at all. And, you know, 9th place is not a disgrace. In my ranking, Denmark is number 8 of, how many is it? 26. So there we are. Nothing else to say about it, really. 2015. Now, Austria. Oh, dearie me. Dearie me. Now, I've said before, Austria, to me, seemed to flip between decent entries and pretty poor entries. So they went from winning to finishing joint last in the final with a big fat 0. This was the Make, song 14 on the night, I Am Yours, male group, lead singer behind a piano wearing a hat. The piano then went up in flames as the performance went on. Dominic Murer, Marcus Christ and Florian Meindl, the musicians in question. Joint last with Germany. This is a sort of slow burner, no pun intended, but it is. It's a slow burner. It's very lounge bar, slightly jazzy, very, very relaxing to listen to. I suppose it just doesn't leave much of an impression. Juries liked it, public not so much. I will look at the split results here because Austria was 15th with 40 points in the jury vote and last with 0 from the public, and yet finished with 0 overall. I really don't quite understand how that happened. But anyway, there's no point looking at who gave Austria points because nobody did. So there you are. If this had been in the semi-finals, would it have qualified? I don't know. Taking a look at my ranking, Austria is number 20 in the final. Moving on to 2016. So there you go. I think they were the first host nation to receive 0. Can't quite recall. Anyway, Sweden again. Here we go. Franz, If I Were Sorry. Now, he was famous, even though he's still very young. Franz Jepson Val. He was known for singing a song about Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the footballer, I believe. Yes, he did. Number 1 for 13 weeks. Give over. 2 albums. Doesn't seem to have done anything of note since If I Were Sorry, which was the name of his 2016 entry. He had that little screen behind him that sort of lit up in gold shades and words appeared. It was very beautifully done, and then he was on the runway at one point. How old is he? I just clicked on his name. He must be, what, 24? 22. Okay, fair enough. This finished 5th, 261 points, the new voting system in place. That's quite high. I wanted Victoria to win Melfest anyway, but 5th place is very generous for this song. 9th on the night, in terms of the running order. He received a mark of, oh, heavens above, he received 12 points from 3 juries, and 12 points from 2 public votes, Denmark and Iceland. I mean, again, I sort of ignored this song a little bit at the time, but I can appreciate it more now. It's my number 19. So there you go. Very relaxing. 2017, Ukraine again. Now, once again, with Ukraine hosting, they just sent a song that didn't stand any chance of success. This just feels like a bit of a blip on the radar for Ukraine, it has to be said. We usually assume Ukraine will send something very impressive and quirky and out there. But in 2017, not to be. 22nd in the running order. O Torvald, a male group. This was rock with Time, and this finished 24th with 36 points. Fair enough. I mean, there was this sort of ticking clock sound, if I recall, this beeping sound, and they had this massive head on stage. It's not that memorable. It's really not. I mean, I like rock, but this just didn't have anything to sort of grip onto, if you see what I mean. If we take a look at the results, Ukraine received 7 from the Azerbaijani jury and 7 from the Italian public. What? And 7 from the Czech public as well. So there we are. Ukraine actually finished above the Netherlands and the UK. And unbelievable. Unbelievable. In the public half of the results. Anyway. Yeah, not brilliant from Ukraine, it has to be said. Under my voting ranking system, 16th in semi-final 2. Moving on to 2018, Portugal. Oh, now I've spoken about this song many times. This is quality. This is how you do a host nation entry. This is one of the most beautiful tracks we've had in Eurovision over the past several years. Cláudia Pascoal and Isaura, O Jardim, The Garden, performed in Portuguese, 8th in the running order. Oh my word, I just remember listening to this song, watching the performance on YouTube at Festival de Canchal, and then I listened to it again, and then all of a sudden I found myself almost getting obsessed with it. This is so good, and is quite possibly the most underrated finalist song we've had in Eurovision, ever. Unbelievable. Last place, 26th, 39 points, disgraceful. I can only assume people were bored by it. It is a fairly short song, and it does sort of run out of steam a little bit. But, hey, I think this is really terrific. Cláudia Pascoal, there she was, looking tremendous in this sort of black outfit, pink hair. Isaura off to one side, and then she emerges towards the end, and the two of them sing to each other. We had very beautiful lighting as well for this performance. Oh my word, the Portuguese should be so proud of this. Cláudia was on their version of The Voice. So was Isaura at one point. She's released an album since. Many great songs. Yeah, absolutely terrific. Now, Portugal, how on earth did this not receive more love? In the jury vote, 7 from Lithuania, and then from the public, 10 from Switzerland, okay, and 8 from France. And that's it. Absolutely outrageous. Do let me know your thoughts on this, because I think O Jardim is a terrific song. and the fact that it was so underrated is very, very disappointing to me. It's my favourite Portuguese entry to date. It's my number 4 of the Lisbon contest. Only a few more to go now. 2019 Israel. They went for a grand musical theatre-esque ballad. Kobe Marimi with Home, likeable guy, very smartly dressed. He finished 23rd with 35 points. Not great from the host nation. 14th in the running order. He had these sort of diamond-shaped screens on stage with him, a couple of backing singers. Then he moved out onto the runway, and then he was in tears at the end. It builds up nicely. It's very dramatic. He sang it very well, and you have to appreciate the effort, but this was never going to do terribly well. It just felt dated. If we take a look at the results, Israel received nothing from the juries and a high mark of 12 from the French public. What? Yeah, there was that moment where he received 12 from Belarus, I think it was, but that was because of the voting mishap, if I recall. So Israel, yeah, 0 points from the jury. That's harsh. That's harsh. He was above Cyprus and Greece and Malta and the Czech Republic in the public results. What are you talking about? What is that? But hey, you've got to appreciate it. He did sing very well. Israel, under my system, is my number 12 of semi-final 1. As for 2020, we can gloss over that, although my personal host nation's Australia, which was my number 2 of the 2020 contest. And we move to 2021, the host nation, the Netherlands, Jean-Guy McCroy, nice guy, a very traditional personal entry this, performed in English and Sranantongo, Birth of a New Age. His entry in 2020 was much better. Grow, my personal opinion, but it was much better. This finished 23rd, 11 points, that's low, 23rd in the running order. Jean-Guy is from Suriname, and he's got a great voice. And the performance was really stand out, actually. It was very colourful, the screen came down, he was in this sort of blue outfit, chest exposed a little bit. Dancers with him, yeah, catchy. There I am using that word again. A little bit underrated, it really has to be said. But I suppose, yeah, I mean, he was right before Italy. So Italy blew him away, I'm afraid to say. In terms of the jury result, 3, the highest mark from Austria. 3 as well from Australia. And then in the public results, he received nothing, as we all know. So very harsh indeed. So that's it. I've now got to rank these songs, which I meant to do as I was going through them. So feel free to rank them with me and put them in the comments. So we have Sweden 2000, I'm doing this roughly. Denmark 2001, yes. Estonia 2002. Latvia 2003 is going to go there. Turkey 2004 is going to go right up there. Ukraine 2005, not brilliant, is it? Not brilliant, with all due respect. Greece 2006, I think I'm going to put them there. Oh, yeah, I got to put them there. Finland 2007, I think I'm going to put there. Serbia 2008, I'm actually going to put there. Very nice. Russia 2009, I'm going to put there. Norway 2010, because my heart is yours, I'll never leave you. Then we have, what was it, Germany 2011. Taken by a stranger. Where am I going to put that song? Now it gets tough. I'm going to put it there. Azerbaijan 2012. Yeah, it's going to be fairly low here, I'm afraid. Yep. Then we have Sweden 2013. Yeah, good song, but underappreciated, if that's even the right term to use, at the time. Oh dear, I'm rambling now. You can tell this is a 40-minute long video again. If you've stuck with me this far, thank you so much. But yes, Sweden 2013. got to go here. Ooh, yes. Really? Yeah, okay. Sweden 2013. Then we've got Cliche Love Song for Denmark. I'm going to put that here. Whoops. Then we have no, we don't. Yes, we do. We have Austria 2015. I'm going to put that there. I'm doing this very roughly, so it's not finite, if you see what I mean. Sweden 2016. I'm going to put that there. I feel as though that needs to go lower. Yeah. What year are we up to now? Ukraine 2017. No, it's not that great. Again, when Ukraine hosts, which I know is only twice, they don't seem to send top quality stuff. But maybe you love it, in which case, leave a comment. Oh, Torvald. God, I'm stumbling here. It's got to go there. Come on now. Portugal 2018 is going up here. Yeah, I think so. 2019, Israel. I'm coming home. Where's that going to go? I don't mind that song, I really don't. But I think it's got to go here. Israel 2019. Whoops. And then, of course, this year, which was the Netherlands. You know, man, broco me. Where's that going to go? I'm going to think it's going to go there, somewhere in the middle. Okay, so this is my rough ranking of the host nation songs of the century so far. Last, Russia 2009. 20, Ukraine 05. 19, Ukraine 2017. 18, Azerbaijan 2012, which I know is quite low, perhaps. 17, Israel 2019. 16, Norway 2010. 15, Austria 2015. 14, Latvia 03. 13, Greece 06. 12, Serbia 08. 11, Sweden 2016. 10, Netherlands this year. 9, Germany 2011. 8, Finland 07. 7, Sweden 2000. 6, Denmark 2014. 5, Denmark 01. 4, Sweden 2013. That's a bit high actually, but there we are. 3, Estonia 2002. 2, Portugal 2018. 1, Turkey 2004, which is in my top 10 Eurovision songs of all time, and I know for a fact I've made a video about that in the past. So there you have it. Athena for real is my favourite host nation entry of the century so far, but I'm sure Italy will send quality next year. And that's it. I'm going to rest my voice. It's a long video. Once again, let me know your thoughts. Subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, share it online. I don't really care. It's all very much appreciated. Thanks for all of the comments on the last video as well, about the rankings and all of that business. It's interesting to see. And until next time, maybe when we'll have a Eurovision 2022 host city, take care of yourselves, and bye for now.